Having had a home gym for over a decade now and helping probably hundreds of thousands of people build their home gyms, I've got an idea of what it takes to build a home gym and some of the mistakes that can happen when you're building it. So today I want to talk about 10 things that I personally and other people would have wished we would have known when building our home gym. So you that are building a home gym in the process or don't make these mistakes. Let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm gonna give some advice to my younger self. Basically things that I wish I would have known after building, it's been like 4 or 5 home gyms now, spending lots of money, making lots of mistakes, moving lots of things around, putting lots of holes in drywall, and I wanna tell you so you don't make the mistakes like I did. So my first recommendation, something that I've made the mistake in the past, just because I was so excited, was make sure you have the foundation set before assembling and getting your equipment in place. Because once it's in place, like this rack behind me, that thing is not moving. Now the flooring I recommend is probably horse stall mats because they're the cheapest, so make sure you buy those ahead of time. Another pro tip, if you want to secure your equipment to the flooring, but don't want to drill through your concrete, which I understand, one thing that I've seen people do, and one thing I'd recommend, is putting plywood beneath the stall mats. This allows you to drill directly into the wood. You can have a stable platform. Your equipment's not gonna move, but it's also not completely permanent. It's a minor thing. It can get kind of expensive if you do a big area, but just for your squat rack, I think it's something to watch out for. Okay, the next one is one that kind of is an extra, something that will make your space feel better, but this is one that I think you should do before spending a lot of money on conditioning equipment. And what I mean by conditioning equipment is not conditioning equipment that you use to work out, but like the space conditioning equipment, things like heaters and air conditioners and things like that. Something I realized and something I made the mistake of in the past was spending money on the heater before spending money on insulating the space. And so something I'd recommend is making sure that you insulate and seal the space before buying the heating or conditioning unit. And this is the reality if you price it out, especially because a lot of utility companies will provide rebates on insulation, like this space for instance. I had my buddy come in and spray in insulation in the ceiling because it wasn't insulated. I got a rebate from the utility company for 50% of the cost. Because of that, my space, it's been like in the 20s and 40s here. It's stayed at 60 degrees, between 60 and 58 degrees this whole time for the past week, despite that, because it's insulated so well. And then when you go to buy the heating equipment, it's gonna make it that much better. But if you don't, then you're just gonna be wasting money and heating equipment gets expensive quick. The third one is something that maybe we can be a little bit accused of because we review such a wide swath of equipment, but this is the reality. Fad and popular equipment does not equal fitness improvements. Okay, so buying really expensive, cool equipment just because you see it on Instagram and people using it does not equal improvements in the goals that you've set, does not mean gains. You can ask anybody that's bought something like you've seen online just because it was cool and then got it in and didn't use it. The reality is any of this equipment, honestly, that you use will increase your fitness. But the reason we buy specialty tools is because they're fun to use, they increase versatility, they can increase safety, and they can also hit different parts of your body. Because building a home gym is as much of the training experience as it is the I don't know, interior design experience. Sounds kind of goofy, but the reality is like we love interior design. We may name it something different because it sounds more masculine, but the reality is like I love designing a space so it maximizes my training. Don't fall in the trap of the hedonic treadmill where you just need more equipment, more things without using it. Use it, use what you've got, and then buy stuff over time. Now on that same note, my recommendation for most people is to buy less but buy better. I would rather people spend more money on fewer things that are really gonna last a long time, than buying something really cheap that they're not gonna use, that's gonna break, that's gonna be unsafe, and that they're gonna have to end up upgrading or not have a good experience. I really don't recommend buying a bunch of cheap accessories when you could buy better things that are gonna increase your workout experience and you're gonna use them more often. Because what's gonna benefit your workout more than buying a bunch of attachments is gonna be buying a really nice heavy stack functional trainer. So I recommend buying less, buying better, and over time building up. This may be a little bit controversial for people, but this is something that I did when I first bought my home gym. I'm very happy I did, and that is buy adjustable dumbbells. If you've got a home gym and you want to use dumbbells for isolation movements, you should buy adjustable dumbbells because they take up way less space than fixed dumbbells. You can get pretty heavy with them. Like there's options that go all the way up to 175 pounds, although the more like residential options go up to 90 or so, which is heavy enough for most people. And they're way cheaper than fixed dumbbells. And you can do just about anything you want to. And the options today are very good. So this is one of the only ones I've got where it's like, you should buy this piece of equipment, you should buy adjustable dumbbells. But if you don't want to buy adjustable dumbbells, here's a pro tip. You can buy fixed dumbbells, but if you're gonna buy them in 10-pound increments. The reason you buy them in 10-pound increments is because you can get plate mate magnets that go on the end in 2.5-pound increments, and suddenly you can make the jumps in 5 pounds. So rather than buying 10s, 15s, 20s, 25s, 30s, which gets very expensive and does take up a lot of space, you can buy 10s, 20s, 30s. You can half the amount that you buy. You can buy plate mate 2.5 dumbbell donuts that are pretty cheap, put them on the end, and suddenly you can make those jumps. And you can even buy 1.25 plate mates if you want to make 2.5-pound jumps. So therefore, you're taking up less space, you're spending less money, and you're able to have the fixed dumbbell if you're somebody that's just like, I gotta have fixed dumbbells. I'm telling you, that's the way to do it. Now, one thing I do recommend, and something, this is like I wish I would have known, is like the more equipment you buy at once, the cheaper it's gonna be because of shipping, especially if you're buying it during like a Black Friday time when it's 5 for 5, or like it's like buy a rack, you get 10% off everything. There are more companies moving to the free shipping model because it makes sense. It's what everybody's used to. But there's still quite a few out there that you have to pay shipping for because the equipment is so expensive to ship and they don't want the retail price to look so expensive that it just turns people off. But I think a mistake that a lot of people make is they decide to go full bore into building a home gym before they've even decided that it's something they're gonna stick to. Like it's like they're going from the commercial gym, they're like, I want the commercial gym experience at home. They build a home gym and they realize there's no way to have the exact same experience as a commercial gym. Not only because you're not gonna have as many machines, but also because there's not gonna be as many people there and like the music and the germs and all the great stuff that happens at commercial gyms. It's not gonna be there, it's just different in a home gym. So I recommend buying few pieces at first just to see if you'll actually stick to it and you like it, and then after a few weeks, deciding to buy more. You can always tell when somebody's either gotten divorced or they bought a ton of equipment and never used it, because you'll just see full home gyms that are like tens of thousands of dollars for sale. And the reason is oftentimes because they decided to go full bore before deciding this is something that I'm gonna make a part of my life and I'm no longer gonna go to a commercial gym. You need to figure that out before spending lots of money because you're gonna lose lots of money. Just buy a little bit, see how you like it, and then buy more. The next one is one that I talk about a lot, and that is basically getting good at finding studs so you can put stuff on the wall. Like, you should get really good at finding studs.
Looks like I found the stud.
Because you're gonna be doing it a lot if you have a home gym. And the reason you're gonna be doing it a lot is because you're gonna be taking things off the floor and putting them on the wall so you have more space. That's the beauty of like these tons of manufacturers that are available today, is they're making a lot of options for wall mounts. There's so many different wall mounts available, both from just like general consumer big box stores and also specific to products from home gym equipment companies. So I recommend like getting a good drill, getting a good level, and getting a good stud finder, because you're gonna be doing it and making sure you take things off the floor as much as possible and put them on the wall. Whether it's your barbells, whether it's your plates, your dumbbells, your cable attachments, your benches even, like you can take a lot of stuff and put them on walls, and I highly recommend it to open up the space. Okay, this is one we get a lot of questions on, and there's a couple recommendations for it. You need to know the slope of your garage before installing your rack. The reason you need to know the slope of your garage is you do not want to be maxing out in squats consistently at the same angle all the time. So what I do is I make sure I find the slope of my garage and I make sure I orient my rack against that slope. So basically it's following parallel to that slope rather than perpendicular. Most garages, pretty much all garages, depending on how they're oriented, they slope towards the garage door. And the reason for that is like most people use their garages for their cars. I don't understand why. But oil and gas will come out, water, whatever, and it allows it to slope out. If it's a sloped garage, you do not want to be squatting like that all the time because one leg's always going to be above. Now, the reality is everybody's legs are not equally in length. They're not perfect size. You want to try and even that out as much as possible. I don't think it's a major deal. It's not like it's going to absolutely kill you. But if you do enough reps, I think it's worth checking out. The second to last one is invest in improvements that will make you use the gym more. You're not less cool or less dedicated or whatever because you want to make your space air conditioned or heated or have nice lighting or good sound or sound suppression or a TV out here. I say put whatever you want and spend as much money as you want into your gym so you use it more. If you're going to use it the same amount with Spartan conditions and no lighting, I think that's awesome. I think that's great because you're building discipline and you're building mental toughness, all that sort of thing. The reality is most people won't. And I'm that way. Like I come out here more now that I have a heater and good lighting and sound. Like I just want to spend more time out here and it's in another part of my house where I can spend a lot of time. So invest money so that you remove the friction from your life. The amount of money you spend on stuff that really doesn't benefit you, like you would be amazed. But this is something that can benefit every part of your life if you use it more. So spend money in it. And the last one is this. Simple. If you don't use something, get rid of it. There's been times where I've held on to equipment because I'm like, I may use it. I don't know. I really like the way it looks, like I know it's versatile. It's pretty cool. There's this guy named Coop on Garage Gym Reviews that reviewed it and said I should keep it. And then it just sits in the corner and doesn't get used. I've gotten to the point where it's like, if I don't use it, I'm just getting rid of it. I'm getting it out of the garage gym because I'm not using it. It's taking up space. It's not helping me. It's taking space from something that I could use. I could use the money and buy something that I will use. So I've just decided if I'm not using it, like after a few months, I'm just getting rid of it and I'm gonna move on to something else. And you can do the same. Here's the reality. If you sell it, you can probably buy it again if you really want it. And then you'll really know that you want it. So if you really love something, let it go. Okay, there's 10 things I wish I would have known starting a garage gym or starting a home gym. I'm sure you have others. The people that watch our channel, like they're dedicated home gym owners, the people that use their facilities and have for a long time. So if that's you, let me know in the comments something that you wish you would have known and something that we can help other people with because I'm sure there's people reading the comments that are starting a home gym and would love to hear your advice. All right, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. Thanks for following along. We'll see you next time. Peace.